Hey everybody, Mtn Grandma here. Today I'm going to share with you a recipe and review of a salsa ranchera recipe. And this is part of the Preserve Fresh collaboration hosted by Yogi Hollow Farms. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start out with 3 pounds of tomatoes, and the tomatoes that I'm using are the Dr. Wyche's yellow tomatoes, and the red ones you see, those are Mountain Princess tomatoes. When cutting them up, don't forget to set aside your tops so you can put them in the dehydrator and make some tomato powder with them. It's great for using to make tomato paste. And then I wanted to share, look at these Dr. Wyche's tomatoes and how full and meaty they are. They make wonderful salsa. We've been getting around not a ton of tomatoes per plant, but we are really loving the flavor for salsa. And now for your jalapenos, you need 3/4 of a pound, which is about 12 ounces that you see here. And some of these are from our plants, but I did have to buy some. And the next thing you're going to do is put them on a sheet because you need to roast them in the oven. All right, so here I've got my 1 onion cut in 1/2-inch slices, and I've got 4 garlic, which they were kind of small, so there's more than 4, but that's to make up for the size of the garlic. And then I've also got my 3/4 of a pound jalapenos and my 3 pounds of tomatoes. And I am going to put these in the oven at 425 for 20 minutes. I want them to get roasted. I'm going to work on peeling these tomatoes, chopping up these onions, and for the jalapenos, put those in a bowl, cover it with saran wrap, and then you're going to come back after about 20 to 25 minutes and you're going to peel the skin off of those. And for this job, you want to make sure you have on gloves. All right, so here's those jalapenos. I've got them all peeled, and I set the peels aside and the veins and some of the seeds. I'm going to put these in the dehydrator, make a jalapeno powder out of them. And for now, with these guys, I'm going to go ahead and get them cut up really small. So I'll be back with you after I do that. All right, I've got all these jalapenos finely chopped. I'm going to get these put into a medium-sized saucepan, and I'm going to get to chopping the tomatoes and the onions also. So I'll be back with you. All right, I've got my tomatoes chopped up. Pretty mushy anyway, and also all the onions, I've got those chopped up, and I'm going to go add these to the pot that has the jalapenos in it. So what you see here is the tomatoes, the jalapenos, the onions, the garlic. I've added in 2 teaspoons of salt to this. It's going to be boiled, and then you let it simmer for 2 minutes. And after that, I'll be adding in 4 limes, lime juice from 4 limes squeezed, as well as the cilantro. And for these limes, you got to have one of these things, I'm telling you. All right, so now we're going to start putting this salsa into the jars. This recipe said that it would take 3 to 4 jars. I only ended up needing 2, and then I had some excess to add to a 3rd jar. Just a heads up on that. But I did this recipe a 2nd time and doubled it, and at that time I was able to get 7 jars, like 6 and maybe almost 1 more full one. So I think it's safe to say that it is about 3 jars. I didn't measure my tomatoes I measured them before I actually cut the tops off. So I think that was the difference. But one thing I want to note about how I prep my jars, I wash them and clean them, and I put them on a cookie sheet in the oven at 200 degrees while I'm doing stuff, so they're nice and hot for me. And I also love that I can pull the cookie sheet out, and I have like this tabletop area that I can get messy or what have you by filling the jars and everything. So once I get them filled, I'll use the little tool to go around the edges of them to make sure there's no air bubbles in there. You do want to leave about 1 inch headspace on these. And then I wipe the tops with vinegar just to make sure that they get a good seal. get the lids on those and then put those into the oven, or not the oven, but, and then I put those into the water bath canner. And the time that the ball canning book says that is required for the water bath canning is 20 minutes. So put them in there for 20 minutes. And then according to the book, what you have to do next is take the lid off the pot and let them set for 5 minutes before you put them out of the before you pull them out of the pot. So that's the process you want to take on canning these. And here it is. I start out by making a small batch and then I double it. My goal for the Preserve Fresh collaboration, I'm trying to just stock my cupboards with as much salsa as I need from the year. Now listen, before we go, I want to share the book and the recipe. This is the book that I pulled this recipe from. And there's several different salsa recipes in here, but I used the salsa ranchera recipes. And here's that recipe. We really love this salsa, and we're super excited about preserving food this year. I hope you all will think about preserving food. You'll get a lot of great ideas through this Preserve Fresh collaboration, so I hope you all go check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next video, and until then, everyone, keep your joy, folks.